All right, let's do this. It is Wednesday, February 25th. Let's start with the S&P, which climbed for a second day. Moderate gains to start with, sailed up 0.8%. So we now have a downside gap to be concerned about. I'm really surprised to see this fully filled before the weekend. I mean, considering earnings from NVDA, Salesforce, Snowflake, and a few other things, S&P looks inclined to go up maybe 20, maybe 30 points early Thursday. I would be mindful there is a lot of resistance around here. So I'm of the mindset of like, hey, look, sure, if we go above 7K, then bullish. Otherwise, short term, it's a chop fest. And you can certainly argue, the bulls can certainly argue, hey, look, we need to take out 67.75 before the bears can start getting excited about anything like purple gap over 200 day. I would note with 200 day, 65.48, and that's going to be around purple gap by second week of March. There's definitely a magnetism here. Some individual stocks have already taken out their 200 day. But I could highlight a few hundred charts about that, but really. So best guess, Thursday starts green, but I would look for a reversal to maybe come down to orange gap. VIX, of course, positive equities. VIX has come down to the 17s. Look at that. Actually, yesterday's candle was bearish engulfing, and that played out. This is support around 17, 16s. Yeah. So again, that candle clearly offers no floor. So probably be down a bit in early morning at least before a possible reversal. And you gotta wonder, what is this? Is this, I don't know, it's not really a great bull bear flag or bull flag, but I don't know. Clearly, if there's an attack on Iran and things spiral, we're going to be way past 23s. Next resistance would be the 28s. All right, moving on. I will cover oil and gold, silver towards the end. Let's just fly through some individual names. Apple up 0.8. Archer down 1%. Agnico, yes. The mine. One thing I noticed this afternoon, the relative to gold and silver, the mining stocks were starting to become kind of weak. They've had a good run though, right? I mean, look, this one's Agnico's gone from 188 to 245 in I guess maybe a month. I mean, that's a good run, but short term overbought. American Eagle up 1%, but this is a bear flag and it offers 20, maybe the 18s in mid-March. First Majestic Silver, new historic high, but again, it's another miner that did settle red. AMD down 1.4. A lot of chop, right? Amazon, what's that? 210.64, not a black candle. I will note that daily momentum has turned positive, so that's net bullish for early Thursday. Oh, I'm still coughing. I'm terrible. Barrack Mining, look at that. That is a black candle. So even in some of the miners that settled positive, that's a black candle. That's bearish for Thursday. Boeing is still leaning on the weaker side. I would be mindful about this red gap. Don't care about the Barber. Yes, they had a bounce from the 200 day. We're up 2.5% today, but again, lower high, lower low. Unless we can go above 57, this is a problem. Financials are breaking down. Caterpillar down 0.2, short term it's overbought. Kamiko down 1.1. Carnival, that's a black candle. Cleveland Cliffs, that is a bear flag. That's a bear flag, people. Under it's bear flag under the 200-day and under key price threshold. That is about as bearish as it gets. Coinbase up 13% on crypto, which I saw Bitcoin was up like 7-8% or so. Deckers down 1.3. The mouse down 0.9. You can argue it's just short-term bearish, but that's also arguably a bull flag. That's a bull flag there. You can argue that if oil spikes, clearly ET will go up. Endeavor Silver, black candle. Earnings are Friday morning and should be good. Ford, again, this is weird. What the hell is this up for again? I don't get it. Freeport, up 1.4. What is that? 68.82. Oh yeah, we have a black candle. So we have that's a historic high. We do have a black candle. We have a short-term double top from the 60, we had a 69.75 high today. Actually, we did actually print a new historic high today. Yeah, 69.75. But that's the black candle. So new historic high, but a black candle, bearish for Thursday. Google, Sharpie, Home Depot, down 2.3. Look at that. Tuesdays, spiky black candle played out. Which reminds me actually of Lowe's. Lowe's was down 5.5%. Earnings were good. Earnings were better than Home Depot. So there's some irony there. Unlike December, January, where the 50-day held multiple times, 4 times you see it held. We settled under the 50-day. This is a red flag. Next support, 200-day, 243, $20 down. So that's 7-8%. Bearish. In fact, what about momentum? Okay, it's already negative. Volume was high because of earnings. Actually, we don't care about that. Let's go back. There we go. Try not to overlook anything. There's a lot of stocks. I should probably have a list of names I should be checking before this, but just go through a few of the private equity companies. Blackstone up 1.5%. It's just dead cat bouncing. Blue Owl Capital up 5.8%. If we jump to KKR, KKR up 0.9. I did check the stock charts computer earlier, and computer has a target of 61. That's a long way down. The stock charts computer it's not saying it, of course, but you can interpret it as saying that if KKR is $60 or so, the main market's got to get its ass kicked. Also, Blue Owl Capital will probably go down in flames. So yeah, 2-day bounce, but we had a 3-day bounce there. We had a 2-day bounce there. That didn't work out so well, right? We had a bounce there. Didn't work out the next day there, did it? This is bad. This is bad, bad, bad. KKR is telling you something. Don't care about Kinder Morgan. MP Materials. Black candle. I think this red gap's going to be filled to $30. Microsoft. Again, bouncing with the main market. I'm open to the notion we tag green gap. But that's going to need that's arguably almost certainly going to need S&P above 7K, which I don't think is likely. But maybe we'll find out tomorrow. By the way, again, look at this. Beautiful double top marked by 2 black candles. That's about clean, technically clean as it gets. Netflix. Oh yeah, Netflix was up 6% on hopes, ironically, that Paramount will play Netflix $2.8 billion to cancel its bid for Warner Brothers. It's a real irony there. Imagine that. Imagine you want to buy a company, but the competitor bidder says, "Hey, look, if you cancel your bid, we'll give you $2.8 billion." Like, wow, really? Yeah. Take the money. Take the money and run, Netflix. Nike, down 1%. NVDA, up 1.4%. So in after hours, earnings from NVIDIA were good. No doubt about it. I did see NVIDIA print 202, 203 briefly, which is still distinctly below the historic 212s. Doesn't mean it can't be up 15, 20 bucks tomorrow, but huge amount of resistance around 200. So it's struggling to go above that. I'm personally going to be looking for a black candle on NVIDIA tomorrow. Might even settle red. We've seen a lot of that lately. Now, we'll say the cautious looking to short, the really cautious, they're not going to short until it goes under the 200 day. Currently, 174. That number's going up by about 40, 50 cents a day. So probably be close to 175 on Friday, which is $20 down. I don't think we'll be down $20 by Friday. But if we print $200 early tomorrow, we could easily swing down 5-10 bucks. Ondas down 1%. Occidental cooling back because of oil. Pan American Silver cooling back 1.6. Palantir up 4%. But again, you gotta get bounces along the way. But I think this is $100 in March. PayPal up 0.5%, mostly consolidation. Today's candle is actually a black doji, bearish for Thursday. Rocket Lab up 0.3%. Oh yeah, Rocket Lab actually has earnings Thursday after hours. They should be fine. The outlook should be distinctly positive. I will say that today's candle is black, bearish. I would note the Rocket Lab held the 200 day in November. Target up 0.8. Tesla up 2%. Spurious gains. I can't take that one seriously. Take Two up 1.5%. Yesterday's bullish engulfing candle played out. United Airlines up 0.25%. That's a black candle. Bearish for Thursday. United Health up 3.7, but again, I don't like any of this. I've not even marked that gap on. So there's a giant gap that goes all the way up to around the three. Of course, that actually, what's that gap there? That's a Trump gap. That's a Trump gap where he came out and suggested that, actually, suggestion was I think the plan is to just like basically freeze Medicare fees to insurers. So that's a Trump inspired gap there. I gotta wonder if the August 231s will be challenged. It's not that difficult in the scheme of things. You think 2-3 weeks down, you could be down there. UPS down 1.3%. Short-term cooling. That's all it is. Momentum is increasingly negative. We could easily probably going to come down to test the 50-day. 108 next week. So $5 down. Exxon. Price structure is still a bullish pennant. I could draw, you can see the triangle if I just imagine one on there. Again, if oil prices hyper spike, in theory, Exxon's going up. I'm just thinking about any other things to highlight. Okay, we do have to cover, there's Bitcoin. Bitcoin up almost 7%, 68K was 69 earlier. Let's have a look at commodity gold. Commodity gold was up $28, 0.5%, 51.68. Daily momentum has turned fractionally positive. You could argue we could go up for a couple of weeks. There's definitely the potential to challenge that momentum high. Of course, you could argue that maybe we're going to get a little bit of cooling. And you could look, I mean, actually, you could draw a giant pennant from there to there. Oh my God, that would be a giant one. Anyway, got to be midterm bullish gold. I've seen a few other videos today. People talking about 12,000 gold, gold revaluation. Um, I'm I think that I mean, regardless of whatever the U.S. government want to do, gold is clearly going up to 10,000 and beyond. Is it this year? Probably not. Next year, maybe. But we know, if you're bullish, could be bullish. Gold, silver, and the related miners. Silver. We're gonna end with oil. But yeah, for now, silver, $2.04, 2.3%, 89s. Nothing bearish there, is there? Momentum has turned. Actually, momentum turned positive yesterday. Now momentum's a little bit higher today. So short-term price pressure is up. Again, if there's an attack this weekend, gold and silver look like they're going to be prone to jumping. You could even have silver. I mean, look, 89 right now could easily be $100 next Monday, easily. Am I long right now? No, I'm thinking about it. I could. I don't know. I could get involved maybe tomorrow, Friday, maybe. But my priority is oil, which I shall conclude with. Okay, let's start with commodity oil, and then we'll end with USO, which is what I want to trade. Commodity oil. Calling this, we were only down another 15 cents, 0.2%, 65.48. I would note the 10 MA, 64.82, and I would note the 200 day in the mid 62s. So the most bearish target would be to come back here, but I would say that it structure is a bit of a mess. But this, you can argue this is some kind of baby bull flag. I mean, maybe we come down to the, you know, mid to low 64s tomorrow, which would be 2%. So I'm thinking maybe we only go down two more percent of there, and then we hyper spike again. If we break 67, there really isn't much then until 70 and a half, and above 70 and a half, it's really empty air to about 70, 77, 78 ish. Some perspective on a weekly. Oil's down 1.5% on a week. You could argue this is consolidation on a monthly chart. Again, but still actually net high for the month. Note the Bollinger 77s. That's $12 up, which is about 19% ish, 18, 19%. Momentum remains fractionally positive for the first time since August of 22. Okay, now we're definitely going to conclude with this. So let's start with the daily chart and end with a 60-minute. So, Monday, black candle. Tuesday, red. Wednesday, officially settled down on $1.03, 1.3%. I want to be buying. I'm looking to buy with orange gap, even preferably tomorrow. My only concern, ironically, is that we get down to say. My only concern, actually, yeah, is I buy here, and the damn thing goes down to here. That would be annoying. But I really want to. I'm trying to wait for the tag of this gap, preferably early tomorrow. So I need 70. Call it upper 77s, which is $2 down. That's about 2.5, 3%. I will note daily momentum is weakening, prone due to turn negative on early Thursday. So we could have a little washout early Thursday, somewhere around here, 78, 77s. I would be a buyer. If we go on a 60-minute chart, you see I've got the exact price for the gap labeled. So gap starts at 77.92 down to the mid 75s. I do not expect 75s. That would be, I don't think so. I didn't note this little kind of line. It's a few fractional breaks, which is why I've made the line dotted or semi-dotted. This structure, you can argue, is a bear flag. The final candle of the day was slightly bearish, and I'm wondering maybe we can gap down tomorrow morning into the 78s, in which case we have a brief, we find a floor somewhere around here in the 77s where I should be buying tomorrow. So I want oil down to buy, then I would look to hold into next week. Again, if there's an attack on Iran at the weekend, it'll be what it'll be. I don't know what Trump's going to do. I think he is going to attack, but whether that's this weekend or maybe not for a few weeks over, I don't know. I don't claim to know. Nobody knows, right? I did have high confidence that he wouldn't do it last weekend, which I was correct. A lot of people came out last weekend saying, oh, but literally posting on YouTube saying Trump's about to attack within a matter of hours. And all these people are now quiet. They're trying to pretend they never predicted that. When I called them out. So I've been calling that, right? But I don't know whether it's going to happen this week. Nobody knows. And maybe it doesn't happen at all. I think it will. But whether that's this weekend or a couple of weeks somewhere to the right of this chart, I don't know. But yeah, leaning short-term bearish. Give me a possibility of an entry around 70. I mean, the lower we go, the better. I mean, maybe we'll even come close to the 200 MA. I think if I'm lucky, I'll get 77.5 if I'm lucky tomorrow. That's $2 down, which is 2.5% or so, if I'm lucky. And just looking back, you think, what should we be looking for? Maybe, oh look, you can get big gaps down. Look, there's a giant one there. Then you see on the gap, it takes a few hours for it to level out, and then you get a late day recovery, and then the next day gaps up a little bit. And then, yeah, no reversal candles on USO that I can see. Actually, maybe that one wasn't either. Anyway, we're gonna conclude with that. So best guess, S&P does open up tomorrow morning, unless it's some bad overnight spooky news, but you never know. But it's a Thursday, which does favor the bears. And again, if the main market's down in the morning, that in theory should drag down oil. And look at this. Last Thursday, RSI 70. You'd have been crazy to be buying oil here. That's not when you buy oil. Same as here. Look at this. Look at this spike. Look at this spike. Look at that. Black candle. A little bit of chop, and then bam. Black candle. Leaning weak, little chop, bam. Black candle. Yesterday morning. Knocked down, little bounce in the late day, but I'm hoping this is basically a baby bear flag. In theory, the best case for me is that we gap down, tag orange gap by late morning, and I would be a buyer. Anyway, let's end there. I wish you a good Wednesday evening and an entertaining Thursday. Be good.